Hey guys, Yankee here, and today I'm going to be giving my thoughts on One Piece Volume 32. So this volume picks up right where we left off. Luffy is trying to finish Enel off, but he needs the help of the people down on the ground. He needs them to knock down the giant beanstalk that's just hanging out, so they can get a good angle so Nami and Luffy can ride it to then get to Enel. And then back on the ground we have Wiper, who is hanging out with the Straw Hats, and we get he gets an explanation of what Luffy is doing, why he cares so much about ringing the bell, and Robin basically reveals the whole thing to him about how Luffy is trying to ring this bell because down on the island below, a descendant of Noland is still looking for the City of Gold. He doesn't believe that his ancestor was a liar. None of his family believed him to be a liar, and they're just trying to prove it, right? They just want to know that it's true for sure. And this is probably one of my favorite scenes in this arc. Wiper learning this and then being told that Nolan's descendant is down there, and him just asking, what is his name? What is this descendant's name? And then basically pushing Asia's hat over her eyes so she doesn't see him as he cries, and him going up to the giant jack and blowing it up, basically, just to help Luffy now ring the bell. I really like this moment. I like Wiper a lot, mainly because of this moment. It's a very strong, everything about it is done well, like the paneling, the way his emotions sort of come through. I like it a lot. I like this moment a lot. It's probably one of my favorite in the entire series. So the beanstalk is falling. Luffy and Nami are flying. Enel is bringing his giant attack Kingdom Come down, and he's going to destroy the island. And Luffy flings himself into it and sort of dissipates it. And I really like this moment because it's a big oversight on the part of Enel in sort of two ways. One, nobody's going to throw themselves into this attack. It doesn't make any sense. But, Luffy, the electricity bit doesn't really affect him. But also, the only reason Luffy is able to destroy it is because Enel slapped this gold on his arm. And that's sort of what is deflecting? I don't really know what word to use, but, that's the only way Luffy is able to get rid of this lightning. So that's great. We get the final showdown with Luffy and Enel. Enel gets a good attack in, knocks Luffy down, and then Luffy sort of springs back up to finish him off. Enel pulls out a surprise transformation he had been hiding this entire time. It looks cool. I wish we had got to see more of it, because it appears and then Luffy just punches straight through it. But yeah, we get to finish off Enel with Golden Rifle, which is a really good move. It looks really great. And just sort of, everybody's after this bell. Enel's after this bell. Luffy's after this bell. Everybody just wants to ring this bell, except for Enel, who wants to, take it and I think use it for his ship. And then Luffy just punching straight through Enel's giant transformation, and then basically pushing Enel back into the bell and ringing it with the gold on his fist. Is great. This whole segment is great. I think this is a wonderful wrap-up to this whole... One, to Enel as a villain. I think this... having this thing that he had been chasing and trying to basically prevent. He didn't want them to ring the bell. He wanted it for himself. And then having him just get knocked into it is really good. But yeah, this whole wrap-up of this fight is wonderful. And then we get our party. Every arc, we get our fun little party to just sort of relax. The Shandians and the people of Sky Island, they come together because they don't have anywhere else to go. The Shandians' little village in the clouds is destroyed. Angel Island, I think is what it was called, is destroyed. The only place they have left is this island. And for the first time in, centuries, nobody wants to fight because they just had probably the worst fight of their lives, right? And so they're just hanging out partying, and it's one of those things where, like, this moment, this common enemy really brought them together. And we see that sort of later on where the bell, after Luffy hit it, got knocked down. And so the Shandians find it, and it's just sort of barely hanging on, and they have to pull it up before it falls into the clouds and falls to the sea. And then we see the people of Angel Island show up to help them, and we see how this incident really brings them together. And also how the Shandians' like whole mission was ringing this bell, and now they don't need to anymore. They don't need to fight to ring the bell anymore. The people of Angel Island don't need to fight to keep this land away from them anymore. Everybody just needs to just work together to get back on their feet right now. And it's really good. We get a scene with the bell where Robin sees it, and there is a poneglyph on it, where it directs her to another weapon. And then there's also writing. Somebody had written on the bell itself in the language of the poneglyph, and it was Gold Roger. And Robin has like an epiphany about her dream, which is to find the true history of the world by finding the poneglyph that has it. What is it called? I don't remember. There's a certain name for the poneglyph she's looking for. And basically the realization is, oh, all of these put together will tell the story I'm looking for. So there we go. We got some development for Robin. Her goal is the same, but the process is a bit different, right? And then we came up to this island with a mission, right? There is a city of gold in the sky. We are going there, and we are going to get some gold. And that's how we end off this arc, with the Straw Hats going and stealing all this gold. We have the Shandians and the Sky People willing to offer them more gold than they could ever possibly steal. And then the comedy comes back. We've got the fight's done. We can just have some fun. The Straw Hats have their sacks of gold, and they're ready to run. And Robin, seeing them run off, basically leaves with them, not telling them that the people that they had saved was going to offer them so much more gold than they could imagine. It's great. A great little end to this arc. We get a wrap-up with, Cricket and the two monkeys, Masira and... I can't remember his name. I think the Masira is the first one we saw, and then the other one with the long hair. Don't remember his name. We get wrap-up with them, where we get an explanation of what the giant shadows we saw at the start of this arc were, or like the start of this saga right before Jaya, where it's people on Sky Island, the sun is hitting them, and their shadows are being projected onto the fog to make it look like they're giants. And then we also get Cricket and them deciding that the City of Gold exists, it's in the sky, we don't have to do this anymore, let's go find something else, let's go find a new dream, right? I like it a lot. I'm quite behind on One Piece manga now, but hopefully someday they show up. There's a huge chunk of the manga that I've never read, by the way, too. So, like, from the end of Water 7 until, like, halfway through Dressrosa, or maybe even the end of Dressrosa, I've read none of that. So I'm hoping that these guys come back for maybe a cover story, or maybe they'll make an appearance sometime in the future. But I like them, and I hope they show up again. And then, just to sort of finally wrap up the stuff we set up in Jaya, we get a glimpse of Bellamy and his crew basically being toyed with by Doflamingo. We get the revelation that they are a part of his crew. I don't know if we would have known that by now. Because Bellamy and them spray painted their logo onto the Mary, or no, it was onto Cricket's house, right? So we knew what it looked like. I don't know if we knew that was associated with Doflamingo at that point, but we learned that they worked for them, and Doflamingo's just not happy with them, and he is controlling them, and has Bellamy's crewman cut him down, kill him. So yeah, we get a wrap-up on that. Still no idea what his powers are at this point. And he has like some... I forget exactly what he was talking about, but basically he just rebuked Bellamy's thing, where he's like, you care about people having dreams or not having dreams? I don't care about that. I got more important things to worry about. Times are changing. Don't worry about that. So we get a little bit more of Doflamingo. We still don't know too much about him. Mary and the crew fall out of the sky because the only way out of Sky Island is to fall, which is a funny moment. One of my favorite gag panels in the whole series is when they're falling. This is like a callback to earlier in the arc too, when Sanji's Usopp and Luffy chose to do the ball trial, where they fall and their eyes pop out of their head. And we get a callback to that where this time we've got everybody on the ship, their eyes pop out of their head, and then even the Going Mary's eyes pop out of her head. I just really love that gag. It's really funny. And yeah, now we are on to our next arc. We get a brief mention of an Admiral Aokiji, who has apparently wandered off and is just riding his bicycle. And then we get to an island called Long Ring Long Land. It is a peninsula of a bunch of little islands. I wonder if this is considered a peninsula or not. Is that right? Or is a peninsula when a piece of land comes out and it's got three sides of water? I forget what archipelago? Is that what all the little islands surrounding each other is called? I forget. But basically, it's one island, but the ocean is so high that it covers the land that connects them, which it's like a ring. So it looks like 10 just little tiny islands in a circle, but then once a year the water level sinks low enough so that they can walk across to get to the next little island, right? So that's a cool little gimmick for this place. We meet an old man who has been stuck on stilts for a long time and is now lost because his village were nomadic and they've traveled to a different island than he's on now, so he's stuck here with his pet horse. And then we get introduced to our villains of this arc, the Foxy Pirates, and we get introduced to the Davy Back fight. Kind of. We don't get a full explanation of it, but basically it's some sort of pirate game, and we risk losing our crewmates. That's all we know about it. I like this arc well enough. It's a short one, which is nice. I always like a good, after a longer arc, I like a nice little short one to sort of slow down, right? Catch our breath. Jaya is kind of like that. Jaya has a lot going on. But we just got done Alabasta, and then we get Jaya, which is a nice little short little thing, just sort of catch our breath, and then we go on to the next big long arc. So this arc is, I don't think it's even that long, a volume or two. So yeah, I'm excited to do that. Davy Back fight can be fun. I'm excited to read that again. We get the wrap up of the Ace cover story. So Ace was pretending to be a Marine to get some intel they had on Blackbeard's whereabouts. So Ace got that, he saved some people on the way, and the girl from the beginning who rescued him after he fell into the water and asked him to help him sell milk, he basically leaves a flyer with the Marines who were chasing him after they caught him, and they go back to this island that the girl was on to buy some milk, and her parents worked on that Marine ship. And that's the cover story. It's okay. It's nice to see Ace around doing things, because we got that set up in Alabasta, that he's after Blackbeard. Well, we got it set up in Drum Island, and then in Alabasta, and it's alright, he's still out there searching. The milk thing is weird. Cover stories can be weird, because sometimes they set up stuff that's important, sometimes they don't. I don't know how important this Blackbeard intel will really be, and I don't really remember if it comes up again. But yeah, Ace cover story, it was fine. SBS didn't really have anything of note that I realized while reading, so yeah, that's going to do it for this video. It ended up being a long one. Skypia is an arc that I really like. It's got some slow bits that I'm not a fan of, mainly the ball trial. There's some cool stuff in there, but for the most part, some of the villains in this are just kind of weak. Enel's henchmen aren't particularly interesting most of the time, so it's just not as interesting to read through some of those bits. Enel himself is great. His abilities are great to watch, and like the way he uses them are cool, and the way he's eventually just sort of defeated because he thinks he's unbeatable, and then he meets somebody that his ability just doesn't work on. Really good arc. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.